Good morning on this Sunday. You are looking right now at downtown Atlanta, where runners have been out and about this morning for the Publix Atlanta Marathon and Half Marathon. Good luck to everybody out there participating. Boy, they have a pretty day for it. The sun is shining, but it is a cold start to the day. So I know those runners were trying to figure out those outfits and how to prepare themselves because it was cold in the 30s to start the day. Good morning. I'm Megan Packer. Thanks for joining us here for Atlanta News First Plus. We'll check in with First Alert meteorologist Courtney Jacobazzi coming up in just a moment. She's got your Sunday forecast, and she's looking at the week ahead. That does include some rain chances, so you'll definitely want to stick around and hear what she has to say for that as you plan the next few days. I am here right now to update you on some of the day's top stories. We are learning a lot of new information about the big story that we've been following for the past few days out of Athens about the murder of a nursing student who was found dead on the University of Georgia campus. Condolences are just pouring in from throughout the state for Laken Riley. We'll show you her photo here. She is the nursing student who was found dead after going for a run on Thursday, and it's still sending shockwaves throughout the community, not only there in Athens, but also her hometown of Woodstock. Her family's church is gathering right now for their first Sunday service after the crime. Jose Ibarra is in jail, we've told you, with no bond, facing several charges, including murder. This is a look of him being put into handcuffs just a few days ago. This is his mugshot. He is in the Athens Clark County Jail right now, no bond, where he will stay until his next court date. Now, we do know now when the family and the community will come together to pay their final respects to Laken Riley. Her funeral arrangements have been announced, and we understand that the family and friends will be gathering this coming Friday, March 1st, at Woodstock City Church. Visitation is at noon that day, and the funeral will be held at 2. Now, we could hear more about this whole situation soon from Governor Brian Kemp. He sent a letter demanding answers from President Biden about the suspect in this case. Now, Kemp is expected to speak tomorrow in Athens, his hometown, by the way. He is scheduled to speak to the Athens Area Chamber of Commerce, but he did send a letter, and we have a copy of it here. He sent this to the president yesterday, demanding information about the immigration status of the man accused of murdering Riley. Jose Ibarra is from Venezuela. He is not a U.S. citizen. So Governor Kemp is not only asking for answers about his status, but he's also demanding information about that suspect's older brother, Diego Ibarra. This is his photo. He's a few years older than the murder suspect. He was also arrested Friday, not related to the death, but rather for having a fake green card. And despite being arrested 3 times in 2023 in Athens, Kemp is asking why this man here, Diego Ibarra, was released back into the community while his asylum claims are processed. We've also just confirmed this morning with UGA that Diego Ibarra here was hired to work as a dishwasher in Bolton Hall at UGA earlier this month, but he presented a fake green card to them and did not submit further documentation that was needed for that job. The University of Georgia says he was never paid and that he has been fired. So a lot of people in this community demanding answers about these brothers. So it's a lot going on here as we still work to learn more about the investigation into the murder, what exactly led up to it. We know police have said that this was a crime of opportunity, they called it, and that it did not appear that the two knew each other. So you've got that end of things happening with the investigation while the community tries to come to grips with this. Classes resume tomorrow on UGA's campus. Of course, you have a family now planning a funeral. So lots of different moving parts to this, and we are covering it for you from all angles. So keep it with us here at Atlanta News First Plus throughout the week as we continue to follow all of these developments in a tragedy that has really struck Georgia in so many ways, communities across the state. Some other news that we are following for you this morning include an update from AT&T on that outage that happened a few days ago. We now know that AT&T is offering a $5 credit to its customers after that outage on Thursday that left so many people without phone service for much of the day. Now, this is not for AT&T Business, Prepaid, or Cricket customers. The outage lasted from around 4 a.m. Thursday to about 3 o'clock that afternoon. Atlanta, Miami, Chicago, Indianapolis, and a lot of Texas Texas were the worst hit areas for that. And here in Atlanta, there is an urban forest that just got a little bit bigger. The Kirkwood Urban Forest Preserve in East Atlanta is growing. The city celebrated adding 2 more acres. The preserve is different from a city park because it protects heavily forested areas of the city and prevents them from being lost to future development. This dedication that happened Saturday was part of the Love Your Park month-long initiative where volunteers go out and clean up Atlanta parks. We see Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens there in the video. So they had a pretty day for it yesterday. The sun was shining, but yesterday was windy. If you were out and about, you certainly know that. Let's take another peek here in downtown Atlanta where maybe the runners are wrapping up. I guess it depends on the time that they're going for. They're a couple hours in. We know there's the marathon and the half marathon. So I will bring in Atlanta News First Alert meteorologist Courtney Jacobazzi telling us about our forecast. And it's very cold out there, Courtney. They really did have to dress accordingly for the run.
Yeah, you could see all the people, all the officials out there, all bundled up as they should be. We started in the 30s this morning, but temperatures are going to quickly warm today. It'll start feeling like winter, and we will end the day feeling a little more like spring. It's going to be just a beautiful, beautiful end to the weekend. Always fun to see the runners doing that. I ran 1 half marathon in my life, and I say I'll never run one again. Mile 6, I was like, okay, wait, I have 7 more miles of this. Help. And at that point, I was a runner, and I was running in Disney World. So, like, you'd think you'd be distracted enough to be like, this isn't so bad. Not the case. But if that's your goal, you go for it. All right. It's a really nice day today. Thanks so much for spending some time with us. I'm First Alert meteorologist Courtney Jacobazzi. We're going to talk about the beautiful weather for Sunday, and then we do have to talk about some changes. We have 2 First Alert weather days this week, one on Wednesday, another on Friday for the chance for rain, and then maybe some storms Wednesday, and then just simply rain on Friday. So let's get right on into it. We're going to start with the look at First Alert radar. Of course, if you are joining us live with this just past 10 o'clock, you can see a few clouds out to our west, and they're kind of streamlining southeast. A few of those clouds could make their way into North Georgia, especially south of the city. So if all of a sudden you're sitting in the sun and you see just kind of like a shadow move over you, those are those quick passing clouds, but a lot of sunshine for the most part today. High pressure to our south, that's dominating the southeast. That's going to give us the warmer and dry days for the next couple of days. It will eventually shift wind out of the southwest today, and what that'll do is put us under the influence of the Gulf of Mexico. The Gulf of Mexico still very warm, so that puts us under the influence of a warmer, more moisture-rich air mass. So that's going to just give us those really warm days and will help provide enough moisture when our cold front moves through to give us that First Alert weather day Wednesday as rain and storms return to the forecast. So here's a look at kind of just a snapshot, and we'll go into this in more detail in just a minute. But Wednesday evening, a front moves in, and then Friday, what's going to happen is that front will stall to our south down near Florida and then lift north again and kind of pay us another visit and bring us a widespread rain chance on Friday, especially in the morning. Now, little disclaimer with that, the timing could change, the threats and the impacts could change, but right now those are the 2 days we're focusing on, and then we'll get into the fine details as we get closer to each day. So this morning, in the 40s, almost 50 degrees in Atlanta, so we've already jumped quite a bit temperature-wise, and we'll continue to do so through the afternoon. By 1 o'clock, temperatures in the upper 50s. So if you are headed to the And Better Health 400 today at Atlanta Motor Speedway, of course, there's a bunch of events going on. If maybe you're going to celebrate with your friends who ran the marathon today in downtown, it'll be a great afternoon no matter what you have planned. By 3 o'clock, mid-60s. That's where we're going to top out today, mid-60s. Some of the suburbs maybe in the low 60s, but nonetheless, just a gorgeous afternoon. By 7 o'clock, temperatures back near 60. If you have any dinner plans, or of course, if you're leaving Atlanta Motor Speedway later this evening, that's what to expect. Here's a look at your highs area-wide. So as I mentioned, some of our suburbs in the low 60s, 62 for Canton, 63 in Gainesville, the mountains in the low 60s today, 64 for Carrollton, Eatonton, you'll top out at 67 degrees. I know a lot of the kids are back to school tomorrow. They had their nice winter break last week, but it's back to the books, and it is going to be quite chilly at the bus stop tomorrow morning, or if you're headed out to work tomorrow morning, expect temperatures in the upper 30s to low 40s. So you'll need the jacket, the coat tomorrow morning, but then it's one of those days where you'll peel off layers through the afternoon, and it's going to be t-shirt weather by the afternoon. Heading home, 71 degrees. It's going to be a really nice day. So whether you're headed home from school tomorrow, or you're picking up the kids from school tomorrow, or even as you're making your way home from work tomorrow, expect upper 60s to low 70s. Here's a look tomorrow area-wide at those highs. So all of us will top out nice and mild, warm. for that matter, low 70s all across the area. As we head into Tuesday, a few showers possible, mainly north of the city. It looks like a morning time frame for that right now, but not necessarily going to impact your commute in a big way. Just some light rain possible Tuesday morning. Then Wednesday, of course, is our first alert weather day as rain and storms roll in the evening. A few showers possible Thursday, and then Friday, that rain returns, and that's our next first alert weather day. And again, the first alert weather day is just kind of a way to give you a heads up, a way to let you know that those are the days that we want you to focus on because they just might impact you in some way. So let's take you through one of our forecast models here. Models are definitely starting to come into a little more agreement when it comes to the timing of this cold front. And I want to note that we'll be in the 70s Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So that's warm. And our wind will be coming out of the south. So that's going to pull in the moisture. So you have the heat, you have the moisture, you'll have the lift from the cold front. So you put those three ingredients together, and when they work in tandem, if everything can line up right, you'll get the chance for severe weather. Now, some of the rain and storms might actually come out ahead of that cold front, so you're not going to get quite as much lift. So that's going to lessen our severe weather threat right now. But again, something that we're still monitoring. 8 o'clock in the morning Wednesday, we're dry, mostly cloudy. By 4 o'clock, that front is starting to knock on the door of northwest Georgia, maybe a few showers out ahead of it. So we're really going to look from Rome into Ellijay, so Floyd, Chattooga, into Fannin County, maybe as far as Bartow County. That's where we'll look for an isolated severe storm. Not a sure bet yet. It's a little too far out, just too far out for us to really nail that down. But models are hinting that there's at least a chance for an isolated severe storm northwest of the city on Wednesday afternoon. That front will start to sink into Metro by around 6:30. And again, this timing will more than likely change a little bit, but right now it looks like if you commute home a little bit later on Wednesday, that you more than likely will get wet. And then that front will sink to the south through the evening hours, the late evening hours after sunset will dry out. Maybe a few showers on Thursday, otherwise mostly cloudy. And then Friday, what's going to happen is, again, that front will sink to our south and stall near Florida. But part of that front will be hanging out over the Gulf of Mexico. And sometimes what happens is when fronts stall over water like that, lows will develop along them. You see that a lot during hurricane season. Obviously, we're not in hurricane season, but that phenomenon isn't only confined to hurricane season. So sometimes we'll have a low develop along these fronts, and then they lift north. So that's what's going to happen here. We'll have a low develop along a stalled front over the water. Things will kind of churn up, and then it will pay us another visit and relift north. Same weather system, and bring us that chance for widespread rain Friday, potentially Friday morning. Right now, that's the time frame models are kind of favoring. That could change, though, but just prepare for the potential for a pretty rainy commute on Friday. When it comes to the chance for storms, doesn't really look like that's the case here. It looks like any kind of thunderstorm activity will be confined to central Georgia down towards Macon and then closer to the Gulf Coast. We will just deal with the chilly rain because take a look at our first alert 7-day forecast. We're going from 70s to start the week to 50s to end the week. So a chilly rain on the way at that for Friday. Beautiful today, though. Get out and enjoy it. Can't stress enough to get out and soak up the sunshine today and just enjoy the beautiful weather. 66 for a high today. Waking up to the 40s tomorrow with highs in the low 70s. Low 70s with maybe a stray shower north of the city on Tuesday. Otherwise, a mostly cloudy day. Waking up in the 60s on Wednesday. That's that sign that a weather system's coming. You'll have the clouds locked in. You'll have that southerly wind pulling in the warmer air. So temperatures will be quite mild to head out the door Wednesday. Highs in the low 70s with the rain and storms coming in after lunchtime between around 5 and then leaving around 11 with maybe an isolated storm possible, severe storm possible northwest of the city. But again, circle that day on your calendar and focus on it, and we'll give you all the details as we get more and get closer to the day on Wednesday. That's our first alert weather day. And then we wake up in the 30s on Wednesday. Temperatures will drop in a big way behind this weather system. 50s Thursday afternoon, and then that rain moves in Friday morning, so temperatures won't have an opportunity to warm all that much. Some models do keep us in the 40s all day on Friday, so we will watch that day. That day is kind of written in pencil right now. It will change in some capacity, but we do know it's going to be fairly rainy. If anything changes about it, we'll let you know. But right now, prepare for a chilly rain. And then Saturday, mostly cloudy, maybe a few showers. Models are struggling with Saturday, which is typical 7 days out, but we'll at least have the chance for maybe some rain on Saturday with temperatures in the low 60s to kick off next weekend. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for spending some time with us this morning. We always appreciate you coming to us for your news and your weather. I hope you enjoy the beautiful Sunday, and we'll catch you here next time.